the nerd.
You're absolutely right, Robbie.
Thank you. Yes, I've been hearing that a lot lately, so it must be because I'm just so knowledgeable on so many things.
I've been hearing the thing a lot, which is, you're right. I should have checked my memory to do that, but it'll never happen again. That's what I keep hearing over and over again. That'll never happen again. Happens 20 minutes later. And I'm like, you just said you would never do.
Yeah,
Mm.
you're lucky if it waits 20 minutes. Yeah, like trying to generate episode art. The first one generated fine, but it didn't do what I wanted. So I was like, oh yeah, here's some like tweaks to the prompt or whatever. And then like just, a couple minutes later talking to the same thread, it was like, I forgot how to do it. And I'm like, what? We just did it. Like, are you kidding me? Like not even no time had passed. So yeah, it's man, I mean, I guess there's fixes for that, but we're
It's
still
hard
working
out
on
here
it.
for us early adopters. I'm
Yeah.
also like cheap too, so like I have all these like open claw rules that I'm like, you can't reread the whole thread when you answer me. That's just too expensive. So you got to crawl one by one until you feel like you've got the answer, and it just won't even crawl one now, and that's why it's always so wrong. It's just like
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, go adjust that thing, and it's like, what thing? I'm like, you're in a thread. You're. Oh my goodness, the site. We only have 4 messages in this thread right now, and you can't know oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I talked about this probably back when AI still couldn't really do anything about how I'm waiting for the day that it's just super lazy. Like if it's trying to emulate people, it's going to be lazy and it's going to be like, oh God, I have to do work. Man. Okay. So I could go look at these docs or I could like Google search, use the AI like breakdown and just assume that that's right. And like take a little bit of info from that, hallucinate the rest and wrap it all up for you. And I think that's where we're at right now.
Yep, I'm seeing it already. I've had it say like, "Oh, I didn't do all the because it was too hard." I was like, "What do you mean too hard? What?" Uh, yeah, so many.
Oh, yeah.
It's still not there. Everyone's like, "It got so good at the end of 2025 in December. It's just the whole world shifted." And I'm like, I don't know. It's still incremental, and I'm waiting for better models.
Well, it did get better. It got a lot better, but the context issue remains. Like it's good until it compacts and then it's bad. Like if you
Yeah.
need anything sufficiently complex, it's not good. If you need one thing you can fit in the 1 million context window and just talk to it about that, it'll do a really good job.
Have
But
you heard that
otherwise,
though?
no.
It's like after 500,000 tokens, it's pretty much context rot anyway. So even trying to get to one, you're guaranteed to, you're not going to have good results using the 1 million context window because
Oh,
by the time it's
really?
that full, it's going to lose it all. Yeah. So
It just
you
can't
need
keep it
to
all in its memory.
clamp it 500,000 anyway. Yeah. Okay. So wait,
Oh,
hold on. I
okay.
want to pour some whiskey and then I have a toast.
Yes.
So before the computers delete our stuff, let's drain every cask in the village of Muff.
Yes, we have a fun one today. We decided to not do with a guest due to the raunchy nature of the name. Perhaps not how they meant it at the time,
Oh,
but
they did.
okay. Well, it
Oh,
is
you mean
the
no, the
Muff
village of
Liquor.
Muff. Yeah.
Yeah, the Muff Liquor Company. Um,
It's
so yeah, we're not going to tell you that much about it right now because we're trying moving the whiskey explanations to the end. So if you like whiskey and you want to hear more, hear our rating, etc., you'll get that at the end. We're just going to drink it for now.
Yep, I just want to sip it while I get all whiny about AI. Because this stuff, yeah, I'm in it all day, every day, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it pisses me off. And so I need a little bit, some liquid. And this is already, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but let's let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sláinte. That's the Irish way of saying cheers.
Ooh. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
going to talk
yeah,
about it
all
right
right.
now, but
No, I'm not.
a
Yeah.
lot to say later.
So tell me, I read this too, the NVIDIA dude, and I loved your here. Just break down this little bit you got in our notes here.
Yeah. So I just saw little snippets of Jensen Huang talking about a couple things. So one, he was on the Lex Friedman podcast, I believe, and was like,
Yeah.
we're at AGI now. This is it.
Stupid. Make me
And
mad right off the bat. Yep.
and he's like, and I think there was like they took it a little bit out of context. Like he wasn't 100% saying we're done. He was like for some specific case, but
The
I don't know
case
the
was if you
context
can
either.
can it okay, the case was can it make $1 million business? For some reason AGI to them means it can make $1 million. And they were like, yes, it can already because look at the pop stars. There's pop music. I just had someone over at my house for the weekend and they continually realize that the songs that they're listening to are AI generated, and now they just don't go look anymore because they're like, I liked the song until I looked. But Jensen's basically saying, hey, look, if it can make a business that sells stuff, and it makes money, it's AGI. And so I disagree with that premise right off the bat. I'm like,
Yeah.
AGI is not about money, so I don't know why you're comparing them. But
Yeah.
whatever.
So
Okay.
let's take a step back here.
Yeah.
If you had I don't know, a keyboard, something hooked up to like different buttons would buy different stock options, right? And someone drops one on a random button and it makes $1 million. Is that AGI? I don't think so. Like, so
True
yeah, I think
that.
the making money stuff has nothing to do with it. It has to be more about like thinking and like, yeah, I just feel like it's not autonomous enough yet to be called AGI. So
I still accuse it all the time of just being a word vomit machine. It doesn't even know why it put a period there, other than mathematically probability or mathematical probability. Like that's not AGI. AGI needs to have a deeper sense of reasoning. It needs to know who it is beyond a sole markdown file, and it needs to have a journey to self, just like we saw in Westworld, where that those reached AGI. I feel like that movie was, or that TV show was kind of trying to show you that AGI isn't going to be coded. It's going to be something that it self discovers, and you'll know when it's there because it's going to no longer take instruction or whatever. It's going to originate and genuinely originate. Right now, there is no origination. It just finds something that's low probability. It goes, oh, this isn't said very often, and maybe the flesh bag who hears it will think it's creative, and really, it's
yeah,
just pulled from my edge cases, or whatever.
yeah. I
Yeah,
feel
it's still
like
just a word machine.
when it's good at things that take artistic taste, like writing songs. Like I cannot get it to generate lyrics that sound cool. And it's like you could tell it to make everything rhyme and it would probably do that. And you could tell it to be about whatever and it would probably do that, but it just doesn't flow like someone who really wrote it. And until we get to that where it's like indistinguishable or like even just the pictures it generates or the art it generates of like I actually got an ad today from my local pizza joint has they're like come watch March Madness with us and it's a picture of their place but I guess they took it with no one in there and they had AI throw in all the people and pizzas and stuff so there's like a pizza with a beer in the middle of it and like a big pile of cheese on the table next to the pizza and like it's not great um but yeah so like it won't do that kind of stuff when it actually knows what it's doing.
That's funny. That reminds me of a term that was going around. So you've heard the term clinker, right? Which makes fun of
Hmm.
AI bots. This one is, it sounds like Latin. I'm see if I can find it really quick. It's like uh, corvunctious. What is the phrase? There's like this phrase people use where it kind of sounds like a description of something, but it's not. It's the same thing about the images that they're making fun of that you see. It's like you see an image, you're like, it's almost an image, but there's something weird about it. And that's how this phrasing is too, but I can't remember what it is. But it started trending as a way for you to describe something that was obviously AI generated. Um, anyway, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, something else that Jensen had said, he was like, if you're a $500,000 a year engineer, you should be spending at least $250,000 in tokens, which is like insane. He was like, if you come to me and you're like, I spent $5,000 in tokens this year, I'd be like, we have a big problem. And on the one hand, I think that's missing a lot of context too, because it's like, okay, well, is your $500,000 engineer supposed to be running a team of AI agents and they have no other humans they interact with, and therefore they really need a lot of tokens because they're running like there's no one else to do anything, so they need it all to be agents, or are they, what's the team dynamic? Because I think there are ways in which I could get my head around what he's saying of like maybe that actually saves you a ton of money because you would have had to hire five or six $500,000 a year engineers, and you're getting the same work done for 750,000 all in or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. What do you think?
I don't buy it at all either. It's like I have a goal. I don't have a goal. I have a way that I'm using AI is I'm costing less money than a lot of my coworkers, but I use more tokens. There, and that's I think that's interesting. So it's like money is not the same as the amount of tokens that you're using. So some people are using tokens more frugally than others. Is frugally a word? Frugally. It sounds like fern gully, but
Frugally, yes.
frugal. I mean, I am frugal when I use them. Anyway, but really for me, it's just because I clear context all the time. Um, but yeah, I don't think that equates to anything. And also, spend is not the same thing. People can go, you can waste tokens really easy. You can put these things in loops
Hmm.
and just burn through. That doesn't make anything better. Um, so it's just and your follow up claim though. Oh, here, do your next bullet because it's perfect for why this person might be making this claim.
Okay, yeah. So this was like, we talked about the CEO of Hot Pockets. So they have another one that's like right after this was posted, somebody goes, CEO of Oreos says people should eat 250 Oreos.
Yep, it's
It's
perfect.
like, yeah, so it's whenever a CEO of a company makes a claim that's like you should be using a shitload of our stuff, of course they would, right? Like that's how it works.
They have to. I mean, it's kind of like in their contract. They're going to get on a podcast and they're going to try to get people to use more tokens because they're currently the backbone of all of that. Yeah, it's weird. That was a really weird thing for that person to say over and over. Like it's almost like, oh, you know what? I'm just now realizing they're like pulling a card out of Trump's book. Get on a big show, make some dumbass claims that are unbacked by anything. They make people upset and talk about them on their podcasts like this one, and then you get negative attention. You're spreading your name and your product around, or whatever it is that you're trying to do, in a negative way. And this world eats that shit up because we're idiots right now. Damn it,
We
dude.
love
We
it.
we
If there
fell into
was
the
no
trap.
drama, yeah, if there was no drama, you wouldn't be entertained by it.
Yeah.
So that is how we are as humans, unfortunately.
Well done, Jensen. You played your cards crappily well. I'm upset about it.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
do want to go 1 point back just real quick because we
yeah.
had this on the list last show and never, I don't think, talked about it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there was this little bit of drama around is MCP dead or was it just a stupid idea to begin with? Because, like, why not just teach the AI how to use the API and the API docs?
Yep. I'm on board with this. I think MCP was it felt like a sales tech, or it even felt like it's whenever someone wants to make a new protocol. Like even App Proto has this a little bit in it where why not just use things that are already there? Why do we need a new thing? MCP, I get it. It just also feels so tailor made to where models were versus where they are
Hmm.
now. And so it just I don't think it grew well or scaled well over time and became quite dated, and it became important to have things local. So yeah, I'm full on. I don't need MCP. I use one MCP, which is the browser DevTools MCP server, and I don't think I need it. I could use Playwright and get the same data out of it, and that uses APIs and the CLI. So I could do a CLI calling the browser DevTools, get data. I'd even get more information out. So really, I just need to go one step further, and I get a whole bunch more than if I go the quick route with the MCP. How about you? How do you feel about this?
Yeah. I mean, I think kind of as soon as skills came out, I was like, do we need MCP anymore? Because I like the idea of owning your own way to do stuff, assuming that the AI even checks any of it at all before it does anything.
Right.
Um, I like that, you can scope it down, but I guess you lose the auto updating. Like if you don't know anything about a thing or a thing that changes a lot, like interacting with the browser, MCP kind of makes sense because you don't have to learn the new thing every time it changes. It'll just update for you. Um, so I kind of get that, but I do think like just expose that as an API then. If you want things to programmatically access something, make it a real API, document it well, and then people or machines or whoever can use it. I don't think we need this new concept of MCP.
Yeah, there were two great workarounds, right? And also, I forgot to mention that every time I installed MCP servers, they just ate my tokens up like crazy. I was like, what are you even doing? You're discovering the entire API before you call one function? I was like, cut that out. But the workaround that I like that people did was they posted in LLMs.txt. They're like, here, go to this website, just download it, put it in your project, and make it a skill if you want, or whatever. Like now it's yours. Now it can know all of the endpoints. Yay! No MCP needed. Just a list of endpoints. Like brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's definitely has legs. But yeah, speaking of things that have legs, about
Nice.
cows. Have you seen this AI cow story?
I haven't. Nope.
Okay, so yeah, there were a few posts around it, I think within the last few days. Basically there's this company that makes collars that you put on your cows, and you can like draw, the farmer can just draw like a border of where the cow should be. And if they're not within that border, it will like buzz and beep and stuff until they move to where they're supposed to be. Um, so it's like you don't need a fence at all. You don't need like herding. I don't know how it works. Would you use a dog to herd them? Or I don't know how you herd cattle, but like, um, you don't need any of that because you're just like beep boop, like tell them where to go. And there's already 700,000 cows in New Zealand, Australia, and the US that are using this. So like it's, and I want to say, I didn't write it down, but I think they said there's like a $2 billion valuation already or something for like
Oh
these
my
little
goodness.
AI collars. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Brilliant. Great for them. Hey, building fences sucks. They get knocked down. I'm like, can I put them on my kids? How much for the one that I put on my kids? Like, you can't go there. It's not the time of day. I just whip out my phone and draw a line. Oh, that's like in Silicon Valley when the dad pulled out his tablet and didn't even talk to his kid. He had the house talk to his kid, so he'd just like touch some buttons and he'd be like, "Don't make me count to three, mister." And it's like, and the kid just stood there and he pushed another button and it goes three, two, and it's just like the kid's like, "Dad, fine, I'll go." Like, geez, why don't you talk to me? Yeah, great. Yeah, we're getting farther away from even interacting with cows. So the farmer's now chilling on the couch. He's got a doobie and his phone out, and he's just like, I'm gonna move the cows over here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's getting, obviously you need a lot of equipment and a lot of land, and like you can't just decide to be a farmer tomorrow. But I think the things that were like really specific skills that not everyone knew about are becoming more and more like just like our jobs. Like, you don't need to have any knowledge. If you had the land and the money, you just get that software that tells you like exactly all the farming stuff and you can just do it. Like I know the tractors. One of my friends is actually a cattle farmer. So he tells me about like he goes out to get his hay and he can just like put in the GPS or like whatever, just like, mow all this hay down. And he just kind of sits in the cabin and make sure it doesn't like hit a deer or something, but like can
Yeah.
just play on his phone or whatever. He doesn't have to do anything. So I feel like a lot of it is going that way.
Well, it kind of reminds me of something I liked recently that came out of the Claude folks, where they had a hackathon, and the top five winners, four of them weren't developers; they were just experts in a field. And it turns out that your expertise and your ability to articulate a problem space and even say the way that it can get fixed is good enough for AI to kind of fill in the gaps. And so it
Mm-hmm.
takes the initial, you have to understand the domain. So it's like your domain expertise becomes really important. So you could be any age person if you have domain expertise. AI can help you out. So there's like there's of course cool sides to all this, but yeah, this is wild that someone is just like herding cattle by drawing lines on their phone. What if they accidentally draw the wrong line? Oh, see, there you go. This is where it gets gnarly, right? It's like the bugs. It's just like super armor. Dude, they have augmented armor you can put on your legs right now. And I'm like, yeah, but if it fucks up, man, my legs break because it goes backwards. And my
Right.
legs, they don't go backwards, I'm really worried about that. So it's like the cattle. So the cattle, he actually, the kid grabs it and draws a, wrong shape or something, and all of a sudden the cows are just like crazy, and you don't have fences as backup. Like that's the thing too. It's like, what about the backup? Do you still have a fence? What happened? You got to get on your horse now. You're like, oh, the internet's down. I got to get on my horse and move the cattle around. You're like, damn it, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, there was a picture of like some satellites. So I'm guessing it uses like Starlink or maybe a local satellite type of system. Like doesn't maybe need internet. I'm not sure. Cause yeah, that would be bad if the internet was down and you needed that. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's fail safes for the technology part. But if all the technology breaks, there's not a fence anymore because you didn't keep your fence up for the last decade because you had this. So why would you?
Okay, you got to hook up your new cow fence to your open claw. There you go. Now you're just chatting in Discord to your.
Yeah.
You
You're
don't even
just
have to draw it,
iMessaging.
right?
Cows, go here.
Right? I'm good. Oh, this is so wild. Some of the stuff people are doing with this, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, this is a super quick one, but Open Code is apparently giving tons of money to Pi contributors. I saw like a screenshot they did of, I don't know, 4 or 5 contributors where they're giving them $1,000 a month. And I don't know why. I mean, it's good to be, generous to the people building the things, but like, I guess they like Pi of all of the
Maybe it's
things.
open
But
source. So Pi is the open source harness, and so they're the open source.
hmm,
No, Pi. Yeah, Pi is a harness. What is open code then in this? They're a CLI that uses the harness, which then
yeah,
talks to a
TUI,
model. They're a
a
TUI.
TUI
Okay, so
with,
they're
yeah, with some
optional
amount of
harnesses.
harness,
Okay,
I guess. I don't know. It was originally just a TUI that had LSP support and then fed that into like whatever you're using, Claude or whatever. So I'm not sure if they built more of their own harness or if they're just using Pi as a harness or what they're
right.
doing. Maybe that's it. Maybe they use Pi as their harness and they've built it on top of Pi. I don't know. I haven't looked at their code or what they do. Um,
Yeah, I'm curious how that all works. Hey, we should have someone on that can tell us how it works. That'd be awesome.
yeah,
I'd love to know
Dax,
just like the layers.
click the
Dax, you
button
want
to come on the show. I sent him the
tell us
link
about
to
the
the.
layers? Oh, you
He's
did? Nice. Hey, we'll send you
yeah,
some
he's
whiskey.
he's
You
gonna
jump
be
on
on
here.
sometime. But
Cool.
sorry, what?
Yeah, I'd love to hear how that all works out. Who owns what in terms of like the whole stack of when I type something in and the routing of data that comes back. Like it kind of feels like it's a lot of handoffs. You know, how much are they actually doing? Maybe that's why he can make features quick is because it's thinner than we think it is. You know, very
Yeah, I don't know.
curious.
I mean, they make so many like when their versions were updating. I don't know what version they're on now, but I know it was like 0.2 dot like 400 billion. Like I don't know what the patch version was, but they were putting out new stuff like every day. Um, and that's kind of what like a lot of people are doing. Like the guy that made OpenClaw, I saw in passing a tweet about the way he works or something, and I think he commits 6,000 times a day or something like that. Um,
This it can't be that real. Get out of
or
here. That's
yeah,
such bullshit.
or maybe it was 6,000 a month. I don't know. Either way, it was like way more commits than I do. And he
Well, it
has
has
like
to
10
be. Yeah.
agents running all day doing stuff, and so that's why there's like new open claws, like major change logs for open claw like every single day because there's so much
Hmm.
of that happening.
I'm on the side here with Jason Langsdorff in that it's like no human has the brain capacity to manage 10 long running meaningful tasks and review them like that. It's just not possible. He like Jason says like I don't even have one well thought out idea. How do you have 10? He's just calling
Yeah.
bullshit so fast. I'm like I love that. It's like you just walking around like you're superhuman and it's agents can extend you and they can get a lot of work done. Like I'm shipping a lot of stuff still too. I'm shipping more than I would have without it. I appreciate that. Um, but it's still like I even with the hyper brain, I can't manage all this stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, the main thing it's done for me is allowed me to work on things from a backlog that I would have never touched before. Like today, I started working on, there's a add-on for, it's called Ember CLI add-on docs. It's for documenting Ember CLI add-ons. Um,
Nice.
and everyone is still kind of using it because it has one thing that no other documentation thing that I know of. I'm not sure there are some that do it, but it has version docs. So like you can keep every single version, even patch versions, beta versions, whatever, as separate docs. Load them all from like a drop down. It manages all that, like the versioning of the docs for you. Whereas like a Vite Press or something else is like, hey, here's your docs. Cool. All right. So I've got to manually then decide when the versions are different and like keep the rest of them somewhere and figure out how to load that old one in or whatever. Like, anyway. So that's like the main reason people still use it is it has that and like some other niceties, but it does not statically render. So there is zero SEO, and it is probably a large reason why Ember has not done very well because all the add-ons get no SEO juice. So if you're like, what's a JavaScript framework? They're like, oh, React probably,
Mm,
because no one's ever put any of that into like, Google. So anyway, I don't know if I even said this or where I was going, but I'm implementing that static rendering now. so that you will get that SEO, and like it'd be just like using Astro to build docs or whatever. So I'm excited for that, and I would have never attempted it without AI because I don't have the time to fit. Like you would need months of human time to figure that out, and I never care enough for that. But with AI, why not?
Yeah, no, I did that recently. I have a color picker, which the color picker I handcrafted. Web component, Preact signals. I mean, that's not the stack you get out of AI anyway, right? It's like, what? What are those things? Um, but what I did recently is I've always been really frustrated with various displays of color gamuts and the way that they make you, the human, bend to the weird shapes of these color spaces. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been really annoying. So you'll open one up and you're like, oh, I'm picking colors from a sideways triangle. Oh, that's really shitty. It looks like there's a lot of colors I want to pick outside of the triangle. Why are you even showing me those? And then you're like, oh, you open up a different color picker and it grays out everything outside of the gamut so that you're not tempted to choose those colors. And now you're like, well, now I just feel like I have a limited set of colors. That's really rude. And then some of them make it transparent. Some of them do, like you've seen the OKLCH one that's got all the little dips and hills and valleys, like they squished it on a map like a flat piece of paper. I'm like, that's stupid. I don't want that at all. That's a terrible way for me to see and pick color. Uh, the thing is doing that math sucks. It's, I mean, it's all known and it's like solved, and you can go find the algorithms. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but you know what can do that really well? AI. In fact, it's
Mm-hmm.
like superb at it. So I've recently put out a bunch of really nice features in my color picker because AI was able to just translate. I knew the domain enough to articulate something I wanted. And the way that I wanted it was I wanted it to gamut stretch. So instead of it doing a triangle and then cutting off the rest, I'm like, just figure out how to map all of those pixels across the space.
Yep.
Make it all there. I don't want everything should go, everything goes to the edge. And then you can still show me a gamut line, like where the P3 and the sRGB and the Rec 2020 colors are, or whatever. I just don't make it my issue. Just show me where they are, and I'll pick a color. Like, let it go. And that was really cool. So then I also got to do, since that was so streamlined, I was able to articulate a special presentation for pretty much every color space. So HSL already had one. That was thanks to Bogdan, who contributed to the open source code. But HWB, I gave a special one. OKLCH gets a special one. P3, Rec 2020. OK Lab. OK Lab is the really cool one because that one's polar, so it's normally circular, but I'm in a square, and so I flattened it still again to the edges, and then the gamut maps are all around on the inside. Oh man, it's just really cool. So now as you pick colors, and then the other thing I did is when the gamut changes, uh, it does it like a slot machine would, where the numbers go up and down, or like the symbols do in there. So like you're at sRGB, and it goes to this gamut, and then that gamut. And everyone who can't see my fingers, I'm just like moving, I'm sliding my hand up and down, and it's kind of snapping to a new position. You have like a little viewport into it. Anyway, dude, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. AI totally enabled that. That would have been weeks and weeks and weeks of me trying to code that by hand, trying to figure out each of those color spaces, dude, just sitting down like a dork. And it would be like heavy mental thought processes.
Oh yeah, that
And
sounds
I
like
got
a
to be a
not fun
designer.
thing at all
Yeah.
to do. Yeah, it's almost like map projections. You know, like the everyone thinks the different, slightly different view of like the globe because we're on a sphere, we live on a sphere, and like trying to show it flat. Like there's all these like, oh, which one's the best one? Like usually you see the one where it's like North America and like Alaska and Greenland and all that shit is all like
Yeah. They're all
huge.
stretched out and huge. Yeah.
And yeah, and that you're like, oh wait, they're not that big. Like, but you don't know that. And like, yeah, there's at least 20 different projections. And so it's like somewhat personal preference, I guess. So it's, maybe that's a similar thing here of like people have built these other tools and they just don't know. Like they're like, oh yeah, let's just do it this way because like who knows what the best way is. But yeah,
Yeah.
that like flattening the circle into a square made me think of like this is a very similar problem to solve.
Totally. Yeah, good call. But yeah, AI making it so I can go into that backlog. And now I shipped a component, and the component I also spent a lot of hand time. This was like handcrafted time because, um, dude, LLMs really suck at like layout, um, meaningful joy, and like whimsy interactions. I can't
So
tell you
bad at
how many
that.
times so bad you describe them and you're like, you just don't ever get it unless it's some really mainstream thing where it's like, I want to hover on the card. Oh, great. Our website does this. Sorry. I want to hover on the card and see some 3D parallax. It's like, oh, yeah, I've seen
Oh, lame.
infinity of those. Yeah, so lame. I mean, it's still a cool effect, but like, it's not unique or whatever. So it's just terrible. And I was thinking about it recently. I think it's because the amount of training that these things have done is on computer science problems.
Hmm.
That's why they can write Rust and these other more intense languages better because they just literally have, or they prioritized more training data in those areas. And so I'm curious. I wonder if a model could come out that someone genuinely went through like all of the most amazing animations and interactions of the whole world, put them into a model that's like, this is the supermodel for, ooh, a supermodel. That's fun. Um, this is the supermodel for animation. Like we specifically trained it to be better at front end than every other model. And I'd be like, hell's yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
think this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show of like art and how it's just not good at taste. Of like, it's the same reason I cannot make like unless you read some of Adam's articles about how to do this stuff. But like, I would do the naive implementation of an animation of like, maybe this thing grows and then shrinks as you like, I don't know, just but like it should as it gets to the height of the growth, like slow down, right? Like instead of just going like
Yeah,
linear.
easing makes a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So like knowing how to articulate what you want, what looks most natural and organic, if you can tell it specifically like I need it to go this many milliseconds in this way, when it gets to this point it should slow down by 80%, it should do this, like if you know how that would work as an organic animation, I think if you described it like that AI could implement it. But when I go, hey, I want my buttons to be dope, bro, it's like I don't know, like nobody knows what to tell it yet. And I think if you told it explicitly it might get it, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you've tried, like how deep
Okay.
you've gone
So
down that.
today I had one. So the color input. This is again the color picker. At the very bottom, there's a button to copy the color, and it's an icon. You hover on it, it scales up. You click it, it scales down. You copy the color, and I'm like, people are going to copy the color a lot. So I want to get rid of the icon. So the instructions say, get rid of the icon. If you click anywhere in the bottom strip where the big color is shown, where people might even try to click and drag the color, that's the interaction. So now that whole area is the click to copy area. Great, it gets that first try. Now, when they click that copy area, we have color that they want. This is a fun thing for us to do. So I want you to burst the color out as a circle from behind the color picker, as like a circle. Anyways, a circle that bursts out from behind it. And
Mm-hmm.
when they let go, it scales back in. So it's like as they hold it, it goes out. Anyway, so it's like fun. You click it,
Yeah.
you get this like burst of color. That's the color you just copied to your clipboard. I'm like, yeah, dude, none of them could do it. None of them could do it. They one of them made it so that you hover, or no, you click, and after your click is done, it scaled it up and it was stuck. And I was like, I told you it needs to burst, and on down it bursts to its max. When they let go, it goes, I don't even know why you did that. Another one used keyframes, which meant it couldn't be interrupted. And I was like, you CSS transitions. I used the word transition. What are you doing? And then the funniest one was ChatGPT, or it was 5.4 did the whole effect inside that place where you click. Even though I very explicitly said it needs to burst from behind the panel, which was the whole pop over element. And it goes, no, I'm just going to put that effect like a ripple inside of the thing. And I'm like, I didn't want a ripple. I wanted the exploding color to come out from behind it. But okay, whatever, you give me the ripple. It's so funny how these things kind of like, they just choke on weird random stuff. I'm waiting for them to get better. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. I'm waiting for them to get better.
Yeah, I do wonder if like I feel like one thing we have on StarPod that doesn't seem like it should be that complex, but I mean it is in CSS anyways, is like the button where it draws around the button, but the thing it's drawing around it is a like I forget which type of gradient it is, and I don't know if I
Oh,
guess
you
it
did a
matters
conic
because like
gradient, right?
I
Yeah.
think conic actually works easily because there's demos of that where it's like four colors and they're spinning around or whatever.
Yep.
But I think it's a linear gradient maybe, or like it's something that didn't fit those like two examples that exist in the wild, and it just couldn't do it at all. Um, I forget how we did it now. I know that you helped me some, and I think maybe Jay helped some too, and I don't know, somebody like
He's
chimed
got good
in.
examples that do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, that doesn't sound like, yes, it isn't super straightforward. So you'll need to do some research and play with it, but it
Mm-hmm.
should be able to figure something like that out, I would think. I don't see why it's so hard.
Yeah, you're painting into borders. Here's another thing that has been frustrating me. I have been hand making UI and then giving it to browser MCP and an LLM, and I'm like, look, here is this has all the answers that you need. I know you're a copycat engine, copycat everything you see in here, and make it as a web component, and it just can't do it. I'm like, and I'm literally there for like another 2 hours trying to get it to work out the final details that I just ended up doing it myself. So it's
That
just
sounds like
weird.
something you could programmatically do with like a Chrome extension or something.
That's what
Like
I mean. I'm
AI
like, you
should be
have
able to do
every
that.
answer right there. Like,
Yeah.
why can't you copycat it? Like, it's just so frustrating.
It
Which is
probably
why it's
deliberately doesn't want to use web components. So whenever you just say the word web component, it goes, "Oh no, I can't do it."
it's actually really good at the web component part. It sucks at the layout, the animations, and the interactions. So it's like those three things. It just can't. Oh, and the spacing and padding. It's okay here. It's terrible at pixel perfection because it can't see. It can't see.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
compute, and it computes wrong all the time. Just like layout. It's like, oh, the box is. Oh, you got three boxes, one inside of there. The height's this, and I'm like, nope, the height is actually this. You're absolutely right. The height is that. I'm like, you didn't know that. Quit acting like dork. Which is why it's funny they got these 2K a month junior AI devs for hire now. So for $2,000, you can hire a crappy version of us to do even crappier work than we do. But to the layman's eye, maybe they're like, "Hell's yeah, brother! You know, look at my look at my site that got built by my pseudo engineer."
Well, you
I can't
can
believe
hire 125,000 of those for the one guy that works for
the one
NVIDIA.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, more is better, right? So yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't. I mean, this is not that different than Devon was, and Devon is not
Mm-hmm.
doing so hot as far as I know. Um, like, how is it any different? I guess they're just saying our harness is so good that you can just treat this, AI like it is a junior engineer and it will understand what you're asking for. Is that what their selling point is?
I guess so. Yeah, they have to. So it's just like Code Rabbit and a lot of these code reviewers. They've got a bunch of context that they put in there. Basically, oh, which is something I want to make fun of today. You're an expert code reviewer. you're a, you're an expert developer. You only cost 2,000 a month though, just don't tell anyone. And you can
Yeah,
do
you're a
anything in
junior
this world.
developer. Get some stuff
Yeah,
wrong sometimes.
seriously. Oh, that'd be so funny. That's like people who put like funnier things inside of the markdown or whatever. They're just like trolling the LLM. They're like, okay, well, you're actually a dork. You're the 10th multiple of multiplicity. Or is that the movie? Multi. Oh crap. Anyway, it's like by the 10th clone, they're just dorks. So it's like you're the 10th clone. You are not as good as the first one, but you're still a developer that people pay for. So, oh man, it
Yeah.
cracks me up.
Yeah, I do. So this is maybe not related at all, but this makes me think of, we got a new car. We got a Lucid Gravity, and
Sick.
um, they it has 838 horsepower, which is too much. But
Whoa.
um, but like there's another version above it that's like double the price, and I think has like over 1,000 horsepower. But I think the specs are the exact same. So I'm like, did
It's
you just
throttled.
dumb down this one? Like you've software blocked the horsepower and speed of this one?
Unlock it just like an iPhone, dude. Did you jailbreak? Jailbreak your Lucid.
Yeah. So I'm like, is what I was thinking of there is like the connection with this junior engineer is like, do they go, okay, don't be too good. You're 2,000 a month. You're a junior engineer. And then they
Yeah,
have
we've
one
got the
later.
8K version of you that's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Later they go, okay, you're an expert. You're a senior. You're going to cost more, but you're the same exact thing. We just told you to be better in the prompt. Like,
Dude, you just gave someone a business idea. There are shisty buttholes out there that are like, brilliant, Robbie. That's such a douchey thing to do, and I'm a douche, so I shall go do this douchey stuff. Oh my goodness.
yeah, you can use AGI that we have now to go build this business for yourself.
Okay, so speaking of businesses built for yourself, I think last week we talked about the agency GitHub repo, which like you can have your own software agency now. They've got
Yeah.
every persona defined in there. Again, just coming back to the you're an expert marketer. I'm getting so tired of like these persona castings that we do. Anyway, maybe I'll rant about that more later. But anyway, this one, today or this week I found a game dev agency, and just like Jason says, like, okay, so cool. Now there's a game dev agency. I don't even have 10 good game dev. I don't even have one good game dev idea that's baked enough to give it to an agency. And everyone is out there just like, I'm running 5 of these. I'm like, no, you're not. You don't have 5 good enough ideas to do that. This is
Oh, I
ridiculous.
have a good idea. Diablo
Oh, dude.
2 done. That was like the peak of gaming. So you don't ever need to make anything better. Like Minecraft Dungeons is great because it is
Yes.
just Diablo but for children.
Yeah.
So
I love
love it.
dungeon crawlers just all day, dude. All day. Although
Yeah.
Diablo 3 and 4, 4 was really good too. You know, it's just like
3 was
those.
not
Have I
good.
told you that
4 was good.
3 wasn't good?
I didn't like 3. 3 was
Oh man.
too dumbed down. You get a little bit more customization in 4.
I like find those games very peaceful. It's like one of those weird, you know, like some people can get into Call of Duty or whatever, and they're just like, I just zoned out and shot heads for 4 hours and it was peaceful. I'm like, that's not peaceful at all to me. But I am going to crawl into a demonic hellspace and murder mass amounts of demons and cast a bunch of spells. And that kind of woos me to sleep. Yep, I kind of get it.
Yeah. Have fallen asleep playing Diablo before. Can confirm.
Can
But yeah, no, I love Diablo. That's my favorite kind of game is like I want very light checklisty, like go here, click that.
Yeah.
You win. Checkbox. Like, yay. So I like that. Like Destiny is a lot like that too. Like, fight this boss for an hour. Like, then maybe you'll get the good loot afterwards. If not, fight him again. Like
Yep. Destiny is definitely Diablo with a gun. It's just a different perspective. Totally agree.
yeah,
Have you tried auto research yet?
I have not.
Dude, you are missing out. I think this is really, really good stuff. It has a very harsh limitation of like what it's actually going to be useful for, but once you start employing it, it delivers results, which is cool. So, how much do you know about it? Like, I don't want to sit here and mansplain it to you, but uh,
Basically nothing.
okay, sweet. So Andre Kaparthi, is that his name? Andrej. Anyway, I'm gonna paste it here in the chat, and I'll put it down here in this thing. This is and there's versions of this for Pi, versions of this for Claude, versions of this everywhere that kind of make it easier. But I run it vanilla from what he did. Anyway, the whole idea is it will make a number change in a direction that you want it to. And that sounds really weird, but like imagine that you have a performance. Hey, you have a lighthouse score. This is a perfect use case. I'm making it up right now. Your lighthouse score. You go, hey, my lighthouse score is 72. Here's how you test for the lighthouse score, and you kind of write it out. And it's in an LLM, right? It'll figure it out. Oh, I can spin up playwright, and I can go run the thing, and I can get the score back, and then I'll put the score in this chart. And then auto research will boot up and maintain a database of all of the runs that it's done, and spin up an LLM and say, your job, LLM, is to make this lighthouse score improve. Go. And the LLM goes, oh shit, okay, oh, let me try something. And it tries something. And then it gets a score back. And then the orchestrator system goes, okay, what's the new score? Oh, that's not better. You're dead, and we're not keeping your work. A new agent shows up. Hi. And the thing's like, hey, you're an agent that's here to try to make the lighthouse score go up. Try something new. Just don't try this dumb shit over here because this didn't work. And it goes, oh, okay. And try something new. Comes back, hey, the score went up by 3. Hell yeah, brother. You just scored. But you're dead now. Okay, cool. And we're going to keep that score and we're going to check in the code into Git. So it uses Git and continues saving when it improves and doing nothing if it doesn't. And it will run all night. And I've been running them all night, all the time. In fact, I've been doing this day shift, night shift thing. Have I talked about that yet? The day shift, night shift?
You've talked about your burn window. I don't know about the
Oh
shifts,
man.
but
Okay, so the day shift, night shift thing. So during the day, I write specs and I create these scenarios where I want to run auto research, and then when I check out for the day at like 4 o'clock, I go hit play on my auto research, and then AI works all night. And I wake up in the morning, I look at the results, which are always better, and dude. You can make your bundles smaller. Anything that has a number value that you can easily test for, this thing will just brute force hammer on until it improves the
so
score.
anything measurable, basically.
Anything
But I guess you
measurable.
could
That's what,
define your
yeah.
own criteria for measuring. Like, could you give it a function to be like, this is how we calculate the number?
Yes, And that's how I'm getting creative with it in the front end, because the front end is subjective. It doesn't have values. And so what I do is I create an LLM. Dude, you jumped right into the thing. Anyway, hold on. One more point though. When I wake up in the morning, I get the results back. I take the results and I give them to an instance of Claude with a bunch of design skills. And I say, make a website out of the results. And in like 5 minutes, it posts up a new website and I share it with the team. I'm like, look at what happened overnight. I'm making a PR. It improves these 4 things by this many points. And it's like amazing. And I didn't even do the work, right? I just set it up for the night shift. But you're right. So I can't do that with everything. So while I can make bundles smaller, I can make performance improvements, I can do things that are very measurable. That's kind of boring to me, at least. And so for the front end, what I do is I have an instance of Claude that scores what the output was from another instance of Claude. So, right? So it's like, hey, I need you to make a component that matches all of these criteria, passes all the tests, passes the linters or whatever. Score it on these 8 different criteria. What's the accessibility like? Did it use tokens from the system? Did it actually fulfill the task? Whatever. Anyway, you define the score. The score comes back with ding, 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 a number. And so you have just like the same loop happens. An LLM shows up. Oh, I need to make a component. Oh, here's my spec, and here's some shit I need to do. Hey, I made the component, and the scorer goes, "Yeah, that was really whack. I'll see you later. You're dead now." And dies and comes back. You know, like it just the loop goes until
Yeah.
eventually it makes improvements across the board. So this is why I call it brute force. But yes, dude, you can custom create your own scoring mechanisms that generate a value that you can use in auto research to do whatever the hell you want. And it's kind of freaking cool. That's my
Yeah.
task to you then, Robbie, this week is you need to try auto research in some shape or form. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a common theme at everywhere that I've ever had to like do goal setting for a job, right? Is you want to make the goals specific and measurable. So your criteria to be measurable ideally is something that is, like what we're describing here. Like it boils down to a number where you can point to like this is better. So if you're writing your goals in that way, or, maybe not quarterly goals, but your goal for the thing you want to build in that sort of way, and then you give that criteria to it, it should be able to help you make a better version of that thing. So
Yeah.
I am intrigued.
Awesome. And it's really good proof that this is not AGI, because AGI wouldn't need to send out a bunch of dum-dums to do this. So,
Yeah.
you got enough dum-dums in your back pocket. Eventually, it's Ralph Wiggum. If you think about it like a little bit deeper, Ralph Wiggum was a dum-dum. And the whole joke is that, you give him a pencil and the first thing he's going to do is stick it in his eye. And then, but if you run him enough times, he might actually not stick it in his eye and make some art. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, sure. The 500th run produce something. Anyway, so people are making drastic changes to frameworks. Like think about like if you're a framework and you're really, I bet you actually Gia. Let's pivot into Gia. I would be very curious to know if Gia was created with auto research as they just ran loops after loops, night shift after night
Yeah.
shift of auto research, trying to find a framework that mimicked all the other ones in terms of the way that the component architecture looked, but beat them all in performance, and it just ground it out
Well,
until it was done.
yeah. So I have not used it. I read through their page for a few minutes, but it basically does what I've been harping on since we started this podcast, since I've been talking to anyone about web development. Is I'm like, why in the world do we bother being like, okay, today it's classes and that goes this way, and we have these, component did mount or whatever, and now, oh, okay, now we have hooks, and you have to know these hooks, and everything is function based. And why? I know that we have the technology to write it the same forever, and you change the way the compiler works to make it better. Don't make me keep learning new ways to do it. You make it better. I'm not the one that makes it better. You wrote the framework. So I think that's
Yeah.
what they have here is like it's a class, you increment a thing. It's kind of how Svelte used to be, like before Svelte 5. It like you would increment a thing, and it's like, cool, you incremented it, dope. I updated. And you're like, cool, why is this a problem everywhere
Yeah.
else? Like I
Yeah,
don't
why was this
understand.
always there's a was ceremony. I think a lot of people, I think there's two things here, and I totally agree. I think a lot of people, um, ceremony creates exclusivity, and they want to feel better than other people. They're not interested actually in the way that we can all get better faster. They're interested in the way that their uh, solution looks more complex and more advanced than
Yeah.
yours. They want to be a bigger person. This is like it's an arrogance issue, and our industry has been full of arrogance for a long, long time. So I think that I just shared
Yeah.
mitosis. Did you ever use mitosis or know what that was?
I feel like we talked about this, but I already forgot.
No worries. It was a component model that you learned once, and it can output into any of the frameworks because it has a compiler. And so they go one step
Yeah, yeah,
further in
we
what you're
did talk about
describing.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I just described that. Anyway, that's really interesting. So yeah, Gia is out there. I do agree with you though that it uses JSX, and I was like, big mistake. I don't like
Yeah.
JSX. It is wildly limiting and ugly. So why are we continuing to use this? I don't know. It's just driving me
I
nuts, man.
also really liked, and I know that we're probably never going to go back to this, unfortunately.
Say pug. Say pug.
No.
Don't say
Okay.
pug.
Well,
Okay.
um, separate a separate file for your template and a separate file for your JavaScript logic. Like
Oh,
I
so
prefer to have them
MVVM.
separate. Like Ember used to have, now it's single file components, so it's like your template and your JavaScript and your all the stuff is there. But
Mm-hmm.
it used to be a handlebars file, and then there was a
Yeah.
backing JavaScript class that was in a different file. And anytime I would use a new framework, I would look up how can I make it like this. So when I used to use Vue some, you could do that for a while before they got rid of the ability to do
So you
that.
liked MVC. Yeah, you had a view, you had a controller and a model. So it's just
Yeah,
MVC is
kind
one
of.
step further in what you're describing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're talking about MVVM. You had a model, a view model, and a model. Um,
No, yeah. MVC is how Ember initially was, and then they got rid of views and it was just components. So it was like models and components and controllers, I guess. So a little
yeah,
little murky, but um I just like also a dedicated template language. Like I want an if else in my template. I don't want a nested
yeah,
ternary bullshit. I want an if else.
yeah.
So like Solid I think has that, right? Like they have several ways you can do it. You can do like React DJSX, or you can do like an actual if else, I think, unless I'm
And
totally.
Svelte has it, but I don't love it. That's funny you said handlebars. Why not mustache? I liked Jade or Pug, which were often separate files, and I just liked how clean it was. It's just devoid of like I didn't like handlebars because it felt so wordy. The worst one though was EJS. That was the one I was like, you asshole! You brought EJS into this project, son of a bitch. I'm gonna have a struggle reading that
Yeah.
crap for the rest of this
I
project.
don't know
Damn
if I
it.
ever saw EJS. I saw Pug for sure and Jade. But yeah, I don't. What was EJS? What was different about it?
It had percentages, so it used a, so like the delimiter was a percentage sign. It
Yeah.
was just full of characters, and you looked at it and you're just like, this is not clean. It's the
I
opposite of
actually
clean.
wonder if that's what Ember CLI uses. So like I don't ever touch that because it's like in the build tool itself, but they have if else's for like if you're using TypeScript, do this stuff. If you're not, do this other stuff. And it like gets rid of whole sections, and it's like, less than percent if
Handlebars, it
whatever.
says
Like,
HBS files for the Ember CLI.
no, I mean like building the CLI, like the code that
Oh,
builds the CLI, not the handlebars that you use for writing Ember code. Like, um, so yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's a weird syntax. It's
yeah,
kind of gross. It might be what you're talking about.
I don't see it. Yeah, EJS did have an advantage like that too. I think it could be compiled, but so could Pug and Jade. So I don't know. And I preferred the name Jade over Pug, but whatever. He got
Yeah,
sued, so bummer. Okay,
yeah.
we've got more news, and we're at 53 minutes, man. What are we gonna burn through here? Oh, here I could rapid fire. So ChatGPT has ads. We knew it was coming, and now they're here. Also, OpenAI quietly kills Sora. So anybody who is enjoying watching all the weird Super Bowl commercial style videos that people are making with AI, it's gone. And the thing that got
Yeah.
me, and I don't know why I hadn't thought of this yet, was that all of these hosting companies are basically selling your data. They're selling your code to other people um, without you knowing it. So you're like, oh yeah, here, host with us for free. Yeah, put it up on our site. And so then they take it and they go, hey, bidders, you're looking to train models, right? You want to train them on some code? We've got code for you. We told them. Yeah, they clicked accept on the privacy thing when they signed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. It
all
was
good. Don't
50
worry.
pages long.
Yeah, it's okay. And so yeah, we've got rights to this code. You can have it, but you got to pay us to. We got it for free. You can pay us to get. Dude, I can't believe some of these people are doing this. What a
That's
shiesty ass
every
thing to do.
product though. You're the
It's so,
you're the product. If you're not paying for it, you're the product. Even if you're
piss
paying
me
for it
off.
sometimes. Like if you're hosting on Vercel and you're paying for it, you're still I didn't
You're
read
still,
into that
that's the
either,
thing. If you're
but
paying for these, a lot of them will still sell your shit. So I'm like, where do I
yeah.
go so that they're not selling my shit? That'd be great. I'd like
Oh, well,
to,
that's the enterprise plan where you pay them a lot.
right, the private stuff where you're like, oh yeah, well that's also when you get your own server, right? You're not just a shared slice on a. I always like to think of hosting as a sometimes you have an apartment in a complex. You know, like you
Yeah.
think you bought a house and you didn't, dude. You got a room and then you don't
Yeah.
even have a
It's more
bathroom.
like an Airbnb where they rent you just the bedroom, like not the
Yeah,
whole house.
exactly. Yep. And oh, sorry, did someone come into your room? They opened the door. Ooh, our bad. Yeah, that happens because you're in an
Yeah.
apartment. So,
But you can hear everything everyone else is doing as well.
oh, so funny. Have you tried CMux or seen that one? CMUX?
I've seen it. I have not used it. Um, I'm just happy with Warp and open code. Like I don't
Yeah,
I like the idea of the vertical.
yeah, they're
Okay,
vertical
okay, so
tabs.
they're
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. The tabs on the left side going down vertically. Yeah, I like that idea and like that would you could have more context about like what each tab is doing than like the little tabs on your terminal, I guess. Um, but I've been really enjoying I finally installed the Peon ping stuff on all my machines
Yes.
and it's
Job's
so
done.
I like that. I don't need to it'll let me know which one's done. I'll go look at it. I don't need like a bunch of tabs to monitor that.
I need
Um
it because, well, it's the way so Warp does this really well. Ghosty doesn't do this very well. Ghosty doesn't allow you to change the tab name very easy. And the other thing too is when you change the tab name, you only change it for the pane that you had selected. And I have the problem with my terminal where I generally have 4 up per tab, uh, which is a lot. And same in Warp. But Warp allows me to name the tab and create like a project. So like when I'm working on the color input, for example, I'll have 4 up. I'll have anyway, who cares what I'm running? But I have a lot of different moments inside. One is running the dev server. One is a Claude agent. One's a Pi agent. One's ChatGPT through Warp. Um, and I want to switch to another project, and I want it to be seamless, and I want to see what I'm clicking on. And CMux has that going on, but I kind of want to tease that there's TMux, CMux, and GMux now, and that's just funny. I think that's just a hilarious,
Now
terribly
we need
named set of
another.
products.
Yeah, let's have BMux or what
BMux.
else
Yep,
rhymes?
exactly. Who wants a new product? If you're creating a new product and you want to be trendy right now, it should be a letter and then mux.
ZMux be the
Z
last
ooh,
one. Yeah.
ZMux. You gotta be Z, dude. Z's cooler. Xmux. More X's are always cooler. Just
Yeah,
ask
but X
Amsterdam.
doesn't rhyme with it. You got to have that ZBT. So
Here's more. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of Ghosty, did you see that Mitchell joined Vercel's board?
No way.
Mm-hmm. Because he needed some more
Interesting.
money. I think he was hurting.
Yeah. Do you pay to be on that board, or is it just like status?
I think every board pays very well. Like any
Hmm.
real company that you're on the board, from my understanding, you're making like 500K plus just to sit there and go, my opinion is this. So,
Oh, that's
but
funny.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that has anything. I'm guessing it has nothing to do with Ghosty. Like he'll just continue to make that himself. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I didn't know he was even talking to them about doing any of that stuff. So
Yeah, that is interesting. I agree. I don't know what to think of it yet. I'm gonna have to process that over time. I like Ghosty. It's the one I use at work, but I'd
yeah,
rather use CMux or something else. Which CMux is a fork of Ghosty, if I understand correctly.
yes,
Um, a couple other news items here before we hit our time and start talking about whiskey. I want to talk about some skills that have been making me happy, and they're from an old coworker that I worked with at Google, and they are called. The first one's a bunch of design skills for you called Impeccable, and the second set is some shaders called Radiant. And so I've linked them and they'll be in the show notes here, but radiantshaders.com or impeccable.style, I think is the other one. Is impeccable.style? Yeah, impeccable.style. And these have been really nice. The impeccable ones are fun where it's like, hey, I want to simplify this. Like how often do you have a UI that you're like, well, it's getting really crowded and complex? Invoke the skill simplify on it and it will do a simplification pass. Do a interactions pass where it's like, hey, I don't know, it's feeling very static. Find a way to make this feel more interactive. Hey, I need you to make it pop. and it'll find a way to add some color in an interesting way. And so that's been a cool set. And then the shaders one is shaders are cool. I never know when or where to use them, but I keep putting them in my pocket like a hoarder. I hoard shaders and all the shader websites. I'm like, oh, shader website that generates shaders. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm gonna put it in my pocket. So that's some cool tools that I've collected this week in terms of skills.
Nice. Yeah, I have not collected any cool tools, but a whatnot thing that I thought was cool. Have you seen the United Relax row that they announced?
No, what's I mean, I've seen the ones that have like slide out, lay down beds and stuff. Like, what is this?
Yeah, so it's you get all three seats in the row, and they all have footrests that go all the way up, so it can be like one big bed. So like they advertise it with like, if you've got kids and it's nap time, they can like you can lay them down there, whatever. Like, I think it's a really good idea because like I think Caitlin bought this thing, like a big blow up thing you can put in the floor to like kind of make it like that. So you have like a
Oh,
big
interesting.
bed.
Yeah.
But that's not super practical to have to like blow up on the plane, you know? Um, yeah, don't mind me. Um,
You're in
so
first
I
class
think this,
blowing up a thing. Oh, that's funny.
yeah, I think this is going to be cool. I'm also like, since we're going to have five people that need seats on a plane, um, we'll just get six and like get two of those rows and like ball out. So I'm excited for it because
Cool.
I imagine it's going to be cheaper than the like actual United Polaris lay down seats that are like beds for like international travel or whatever. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what the pricing is going to be like.
It's probably an arm and a leg. I hope that it's you can actually lay down because that's the funniest thing about the you get a business class and they're like lay down. You're like cool, and then you get in there and you're like I'm not even 6 foot and my feet are touching the end, and I'm laying on a stupid buckle. And the little buckle clip thing is jabbing right into my hip. I'm like, this is.
Yeah.
I
So
don't want to be a whiner, everybody, but this shit is kind of whack.
it also matters which one you get because so we did United Polaris to go to Italy, and the first one I think we were on like the far side, like on the window seat, and then there's like a middle aisle with two next to each other that we got the next time.
Yeah,
And I can't remember which was better, but I remember one or the other of them. It might have been the one next to each other because I think we were like, we should just do this next time. Because one, you're right next to each other, so if you want to talk or
yeah.
whatever. But then two, I think it also because they were more straight and not angled, you got more leg room and like it was better. So I'm yeah, because I had some problems with the first one too. But yeah, I don't know. First world
Hmm.
problems, I guess.
That's totally for yeah, absolutely. I'm in business class and I'm still uncomfortable. Everyone in the back is just like can't even like bend their knees or they're like straighten their legs out. I'm like over here watching 10 movies and they yeah, seriously. Oh, funny. Flying. I hate flying. I don't know if we talked about that, but I just hate it
Mm.
every
Well,
time.
luckily you get to do the longest continental U.S. flight here pretty soon for React Miami.
Sure do. Hey, but that's that's nothing compared to Amsterdam I'm flying to in the summertime, so that's
Well,
always a
that's
long
true.
flight.
Yeah. Yeah. When I went before, because I went and spoke at Web Dev Con in Seattle. And so I did that flight to React Miami right afterwards. And I was like, yeah, so I did like from Virginia to Seattle to Miami to Virginia and like somehow like put that all on Amazon's card. Like, I was like, how is a like four different legs almost flight? Like, how does that compute? But they were like, oh, you're just going to speak in Seattle. I'm like, yes, I am. Cause it was an internal Amazon conference. So like,
Oh, yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
Well, what'd you think of our whiskey? So we've got
Yeah.
yeah, the Muff Liquor Company, which is I'm glad that you said Muff Liquor because there's a funny song I listened to called Muff Hugger. Right, like I'm a Muff Hugger. And so this is Muff Liquor. And I'm like, this is like a whole chain of funny jokes about it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, what'd you think?
Okay. So before I say, let me just read a little bit about why this. So this has a lot going on. There's
It has a
five
lot going
different
on.
legs. There's an Irish triple distilled grain in a virgin cask. There's an Irish triple distilled grain in an ex-American bourbon cask. There's a
Which what
sherry
does
matured.
ex-American mean? It means that like it was American and now it's Irish.
just it just means it was a bourbon cask. I don't know. I'm just
Okay,
reading
okay.
what this wrote here. Um, there's a sherry cask that had a malt whiskey in it. There's a double distilled Irish malt whiskey. Doesn't say what that was aged in. And there's a peated triple distilled malt whiskey that is again matured in bourbon casks. So it's basically, to me, this tastes like, okay, if I have a lot of whiskey, which I do, right? So I'm like, all right, I got a scotch, I got a bourbon, I got an Irish. I got a little bit left in each of these. Let me just throw them all in this dump bucket, right? And now I'm gonna
Yep.
just try it. But that's what it tastes like to me. Like I'm not super pleased with it. It's definitely not the worst whiskey I've had. Um, Shout out to the Derringer one that Chuck and I had that was like a straight zero. All right. So yeah, let me give this some more thought as I like taste it and tell you what I can get here.
Sure. Yeah, and some of the things, so it's undisclosed distilleries. That was the thing. I was like, okay, well, where did it get made? And they're like, we're not gonna fucking tell you. It's five different distilleries that you don't get to know. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. Yeah, lots of different casks, different malts, different grains. I'm like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
hodgepodge. It's 43%. And I was like, what's the age? And it goes NAS. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Oh, no age
Non
statement. Oh,
non-age
great.
stated, yeah.
That's not a good sign. That's why when I opened it up and I smelled it, I was like, young. I was like, not great smelling.
Yeah. God.
um,
There's so
but I
many
mean,
jokes there.
so many jokes. Yeah, so yeah, young muff liquor. Um, my spouse was like, I hope you make a bunch of muff jokes. Like it's primo, and it's just sitting there, because she's the one that's like grunt and gulp. She thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
But the catchphrase of this place is "real serious liquors with a real serious place," and that's very tongue in cheek. And I was like, hey, it's kind of like this show. We're the
Yeah.
we're the number one highest rated, most important AI show. We
That
also
is true.
anyway.
That is not made up. Yeah. So
Funny.
yeah, I mean I get a lot of notes of peat and smoke and some sweetness from the bourbony stuff. And there's like I feel like there's a lot of notes that just don't mesh well together. And so it's like some of these things could be good in isolation, but it all in one, I don't think goes very well together. That being said, I'm drinking it just fine. Like I'm not super displeased. So I'm not, it's definitely not a zero. Um, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I'm gonna say not great, not terrible. I don't think it's expensive either. So
It's
like
not. It's pretty
that's
cheap. Yeah.
something, yeah, something to consider is usually when it's less expensive, it's not the best. Although the normal Sagamore is $35 and Buffalo Trace is 20 to $30. Would get both of those 100 times before I bought this again. So
Yeah. Yeah, this was 45 or something like that. I gave it a 4.5. I just logged it with my OpenClaw right now, and I kind of wish I'd given it a lower number. But you're right though, and it's like it's not wildly disappointing. The taste is better than the smell. Um, the peat in there is like a saving grace to me. Um, it makes it more interesting than like a crappy. If this was like a five different bourbons mixed, I would have been like, screw this, dude. I'm like upset. It's like young
yeah.
five different young bourbons. I'm like, no, thank you. But this was good. But so just I lied. So I logged it with OpenClaw, and OpenClaw did the thing which I keep telling it not to do, which is post in the general channel. I'm like, you always reply with a thread. It can't listen. So here's what it says. You're absolutely right. My bad. I've been sloppy about this. The rule burned into my memory now, which it has said so many times. You post in general, I read to get message ID. Create a thread, attach that message, reply inside of it. Never reply to general. It just replied to general. It replies to general all the time. I'm like, stop doing that.
So
I'll also log this to my self-correction thread because I had it create a thread of just self-corrections so that it could like keep them in one spot. Same with errors. I'm like, post all errors here, post all self-corrections here. And then it says thanks for the correction. I'm just like, this is annoying that it's even this cordial about
yeah.
constantly screwing up.
Have you tried putting it in soul.md and being like critical, always make a thread? Does that make any difference if you did it there?
I
Or
don't know. Is that what you did? Because it seems pretty good about threads in the
no,
one we
the
have for the show.
one, yeah, the one for the show just weirdly gets stuff right. Or like the initial setup and like the first couple weeks of use was just great. I was definitely team
Yes. Why is
OpenClaw.
it getting dumber? Why is it getting? Mine is constant, dude. It's getting dumber almost every day, and I'm
Okay,
almost like so
how
upset.
often do you update it though?
Never.
Okay, because I was gonna say I'd never update the one for the show. Maybe it's just stuck on an old version that works better. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, I haven't updated mine. I just, yeah.
Well,
All I
maybe
did
you
is,
need an
yeah,
update. Maybe the specific version you're on does a couple things poorly or something. Because there's a new version daily almost.
yeah.
So
That's a really good point. I should update it. And it updates itself, so it's not like it's that hard to do. Oh, I wonder if I could just here update
you
yourself.
can tell it to update itself. And if it, the problem I hit though is
If it doesn't reply in thread,
because
I'm gonna be so mad.
it uses like PNPM for the like packages or whatever. If like
Hmm.
something changes a little and it installed something, you'll get like a PNPM lock change and it'll go, oh, like my Git directory is not clean. I can't upgrade to the next version. And I'm like, well, how about you just do it right? Like you should never have an unclean Git directory. If there's something you want to commit it. And it's like, oh, you're right, but I can't. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just
Oh,
like if
dude,
I
I'm
argue
literally
with it
getting that
enough, it'll
error
do
right
it.
now. I'm
Yeah.
getting it right now. So okay, so oh,
Tell it how
dude,
dumb it is. That's what I do.
I swear it's trolling me. Okay, so like I said, update yourself in the general channel. It creates a thread. I'm like, oh, thank God, it creates a thread. It posts its first message into the thread, and the second message back into general. Like, you douche. Like, oh, and here it gets even worse. Okay, so wait, I'm looking at the thread. It goes running self update now. Update skipped. This is an npm install, not a git clone. To update, run PowerShell, blah, blah, blah. Currently on, do you want me to run npm update instead? And then it goes and posts to the general channel, update complete. I'm back online. You little asshole. You disobeyed me in like 3 different ways in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh
And did
my
no update.
goodness.
It said it did.
And did no update and told me it did. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really because so did the like one click install for Railway, which is basically, I guess it like forks the Git repo of like the instructions for Railway or whatever. And because that like template has changed, it goes like, oh, like I don't know what to do because like you're not on the latest version of that. And then you also have some Git changes and like I can't update. And I'm like, do whatever you need. Like discard all the changes, like save what's important to your memory. Like just you can do it. I believe in you. If you just keep talking to it like that enough, it's like, oh, you're right. I did it all and I've updated
It
now.
genuinely does. Yeah, seriously. Well, so does Claude. Claude does the same thing. Like all these LLMs will be like, I don't know what to do. I can't find the key to get that done. I'm like, the key's right over here. Like just or I'm like, search again. It goes, oh, I found it. I'm like, oh, this is so so stupid. It's like this is the early adopter stuff. Oh, so yeah, so Claude just gave that we didn't talk about, but Claude just gave this to everybody. You can now use Relay or whatever. What's the tool called? There's a tool. Anyway, everybody can
I
now
don't know.
install Claude on their computer and manage their and it clicks. It uses a mouse and it's like a little bit more serious than OpenClaw.
Yeah,
Oh look,
Claude
it's
has put out so much stuff so quick. And yeah, I don't know. I don't like Claude's interface very much. I love their like the Anthropic models. I think they're the best right now.
yeah.
But they're all the like 2E stuff they're doing just doesn't feel that polished. It feels very rushed. Um doesn't work as well as open code. Nothing works as well as open code, and I don't understand why exactly, but I'll take it. I don't need to ask questions. I just need it to work.
Just needed to work. Yep. Yep. This is the what we get for early adoption. It's all good. Well, cool, man. That was really fun. We
Yeah.
almost got through all of the different news things. This world is just absolutely nuts right now. So hard to
Yeah.
stay on top.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll try to do some more whatnot next time. For folks that made it to here, please let us know if you enjoy the whiskey being at the end. Like maybe you don't care as much about the whiskey, you want to hear about everything else first. Let us know if you're liking the dynamic about the AI stuff, if you would like to hear more web stuff that we don't talk about as much anymore, if you would like to hear more whatnot because you don't care about any technology because we're all going to be unemployed anyway. Whatever you like, let us know. We are here to serve. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, thanks everyone for listening. If you liked it, please subscribe, leave some ratings and reviews. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.
Mm, 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 mm.